for having this virtual, but hopefully everyone else is warm and cozy. I'm definitely cold and wet after the snow that we had here recently. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the introduction and appreciate it. So today we're going to be looking at market research and competitive analysis. Obviously, some of you guys are here looking to either get into an industry or have a business idea, and you're looking to see effectively how to research it, as well as how to look at your competitors and analyze them compared to what you're going to be doing. So let's just quickly get started here. For who you're listening to, as Cecile mentioned, my name is Garrett Fleck, and I own Reputed Marketing. I am an entrepreneur in residence here at Nate, going on, I think, 3 years now, Cecile, something like that, I believe. And yeah, Reputed Marketing, effectively what we do is we focus on relevance, reputation, and results. And market research and competitive analysis is one of the services that we do provide to our customers. And I'm going to be digging into here a little bit with regards to some of the softwares, as well as some of the things that we're doing here over at Reputed. So moving forward, research, boring topic. Hey, I see that this isn't you guys right now yet. Hopefully it doesn't turn into you guys here, but it's definitely not one of the most engaging topics out there. And just the word research alone may seem like this whole presentation is going to be boring, but I guarantee you that it's not going to be boring, and you're going to learn quite a few different valuable pieces of information and skills moving forward. So what exactly is the point of this presentation? The point of this presentation is that you're looking for your ideal customer at the end of the day, who they are, what they do, where they shop, and their habits and behaviors. I hear this a lot. Garrett, everyone is my customer. I have this huge market I can penetrate into, and that happens all the time in my business. And I say, everyone is not your customer. You're going to have certain segments of customers who absolutely love your product, and you're going to have certain customers who absolutely hate your product. And you can see it very clearly, even if you just look at Google reviews. You can see people love it, people hate it, people somewhat enjoy it. So not everyone is always going to enjoy your product or service, but you are looking for your ideal customer to make sure that you can actually be able to wow them and be able to keep them as clients for years to come. So it's another prime example here. Fall is in season, and this is something that's relatable. I'm glad I have this presentation almost every year around the same time. So this is sort of an ideal customer profile that I like to bring up. It's the whole Uggs to pumpkin spice lattes to the yoga pants. Brand name I'll just leave out. But effectively, this is sort of a nice trifecta. So you have Ugg as a product, you have pumpkin spice lattes, and you also have Lululemon. This is an excellent way to sort of profile your ideal customer and to penetrate and get your service into their hands. Now, market research is just gathering information on a specific group of consumers for the purpose of giving them a better buying experience overall in general. And I want to make sure that you guys understand that research is vital to your success, period. Now, sometimes you may feel like this. Your competition always fits. They're a round dowel. They fit right nicely into that circular hole. You may feel like a square peg sometimes going into that circular hole. That's just normal. You feel like your product or service doesn't fit what your customer wants, but it's going to take time for you to really curate an understanding as to your ideal customer. And if you do feel like this, and I guarantee you will, don't feel bad about yourself. Don't get down on yourself. Sometimes things just don't fit. Sometimes customers just aren't ideal. So definitely just make sure that you don't get down on yourself if the peg doesn't fit in the hole. And then once you do figure that out, if you can understand what your ideal market wants, it's going to make coming up with an irresistible offer almost effortless, because all you're going to need to do is align your product or service to what your customers exactly want. So this is a prime example. This is just a sign that I believe is at a bar, and they say, is everything okay? Yes or no? No problem. Just come in and have a drink. That's why we're here for you. So they're effectively solving the problem for their customers. In this case, it kind of isn't everyone because they're on a specific street, but clearly I think everyone can attest to having a nice cold coffee or beverage can definitely help solve you being okay. Now, traditional primary market research, we're going to kind of get into this a little bit pretty quickly. Traditional primary market research is items like surveys, interviews, focus groups, etc. I don't want to discount these types of research, but I'm not going to get into them here in depth with everyone. But they are really useful with regards to market research. So I feel like conducting surveys, interviews, and focus groups really gives you a good idea as to the product market fit and your ideal customer. However, there's a few caveats that I'm going to bring up here shortly that are going to effectively give you an idea as to why sometimes when people say things, it doesn't necessarily make sense. It's more about actions than words. But we'll get into that here shortly. And how market research has changed. So market research is quite expensive. It's getting even more expensive, but there are some solutions that you can look to with regards to AI, automation, different companies that are doing different methods to acquire data to help with your research. And we'll go over a few of those different companies here at the end. But I just want to touch on how it's changed. So there is a big premium on research nowadays, the rise of online research in and of itself, and a restructuring of the industry as a whole. And this is still relevant from last year. Everything is still changing. And as you can tell, even with regards to Facebook and some of the other changes that have been made within those organizations, that there has been a huge change in how data is presented and data is gathered. So we're going to get into that a little bit here shortly, but it's always consistently changing and there's always new methods to try and gather data and to do market research. As I mentioned before, there are a few caveats that I want to bring up. This is one of them. With certain focus groups and surveys, liking the idea is not the same as buying the product or service. I know that's difficult to interpret, but the idea is that when you ask friends or family, you know, I've got this idea, it's a great idea, they're more inclined to tell you, yes, this is a great idea, pursue it. And that's fantastic. But at the end of the day, when someone says, no, I would not purchase this product, it gives you a better idea as to validity behind the idea. So I always like to, once again, brief customers or yourselves to say that, you know what, liking something doesn't necessarily mean it's a good idea and that you should effectively look for people who are looking to purchase the product or service to validate that idea. And here's a great example. I don't know if you guys can read this, but effectively what it says is what people say. And 77% of adults say they plan to visit the dentist within the next year. And I'm certain some people in the audience say this to themselves as well. They get the reminders from their dentists every 6 months that you have to get your cleanup. But how many of you actually go is the question I would like to pose to you. Don't necessarily have to, well, you can put in the chat if you want. But be honest, if you do actually go ahead and go to the dentist every 6 months when you get that notification. Surveys show that only 37% of adults actually visited the dentist as opposed to the 77% who said they would actually go to the dentist. So this is where I like to kind of build this foundation of trust what people do, not what people say. And then as the saying goes, actions speak a million times louder than words. Once again, if people are willing to purchase your product or to tell you no, they would not purchase your product, that speaks a million times louder than any words effectively they could say, and they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. Well, now let's get started. We're going to be going into this a little bit quickly. I know we only have about an hour or so here, but I'll try and get through it here as quickly as I possibly can. But don't be scared. It's a journey, and we'll get there. So who likes dogs? I know we're going to have quite a few people inside the audience, hopefully, who like dogs. If you want to say yes inside the chat, that would be great. No, if you don't, if anybody says no, we got some issues here. Perfect. Love the yeses coming through. So I've got this cool product. Okay, it's a solar powered dog bed that heats up and pressure sensitive, let's call it. This is something that I crafted via Shutterstock. So it's just a solar panel that's clearly attached to the bed potentially, and a nice pupper laying on it. So effectively, this is the product that we're going to be using as our research tool to conduct some of our research that we're going to be going into. Yeah, hopefully you guys are just about as excited as I am about this solar powered heated dog bed. So this is the idea. The solar heated woofer, as I've coined the product itself, is effectively going to be targeted towards either adventurers or people just looking for a heated dog bed for their house that's solar powered, that doesn't effectively use up a lot of energy. So that's you on the left-hand side there. You're warm and cozy inside your tent, let's theoretically say, and there's your dog on the right-hand side who clearly does not have a sleeping bag and or any sort of heated item to be able to travel with them. So they're pretty chilly and they want a coffee in the morning. This is the idea that we're going for, but once again, this is just one market segment. So I asked myself the question, was there really such a thing for this product? There's no real actual solar powered heated dog bed. There's solar heated dog houses. That is something that is a sort of comparable product, but there are no dog beds that are heated and solar powered, or I shouldn't say or, but also pressure sensitive as well, which I think is an interesting way to have the product differentiated. But there are no such things out there. So I decided to come up with this to kind of compare it to some other stuff, including solar heated dog houses. And we're getting into how we can effectively see if people are actually searching for this product, what their age, demographic ranges are, et cetera, with some Facebook audience insights. I'm going to throw a caveat inside of here. Facebook itself is kind of on the downswing of things as of right now, and the data that they have is fantastic still. So don't think that the data itself that Facebook has is irrelevant, because it is still very relevant today. But as things start to continue to decline with them, I may change up this presentation in the future to gather different insights from different audience tools. But for now, we'll stick with Facebook audience insights to give you guys a good idea, because you guys can do this today if you wanted to. So we're looking for the typical canine plus adventurer. In this case, we're going to be using Facebook's audience insights to gather these details. So the location in this case is Canada. The age is 22 to 50. The gender is all. And some of the interests here at the bottom include dogs, camping, and sleeping in tents. We're going to change these up a little bit, but I just kind of want to show you what you're able to actually search through audience insights if you haven't used this as of yet. And this individual here clearly is an adventurer who has a gorgeous husky, and she's excited about this upcoming dog bed, as you can tell. So the potential audience size, this is a metric that you gather through Facebook audience insights. And you can see here that the demographic itself is between the ages of 25 to 34 and 35 to 44, with 60%, 60.6% are women and 39.4% are men in this specific query, and 9.1 million is the audience size currently. Now, if we look into this a little bit further, I dug in some more details. I thought I'd give you guys a little bit more insight as to the different targeting metrics you guys can look up as well. So that includes things like dog food, pet supplies, dog toy, pet supplies, to really hone in on the pet owner, dog owner, I should say, not pet owner. They also have an interest of online shopping through retail products, and they're engaged shoppers as a behavior. So behavior versus an interest are two completely different things. Behaviors show action, interests show what they're physically interested in. So in this case, we're looking at dog owners who are engaged shoppers who have purchased items online. And as you can see here, our audience size went down to 3 million to 3.5 million. So we're effectively narrowing down that target audience until we get an audience that will effectively be small enough or tailored enough to potentially purchase our product. And this is just the first step with Facebook. You can go into things like segmentation, A/B testing, and a bunch of other different things that you can use to further narrow down that audience. We won't dig into that right now, but this is just something that you can utilize today. As you can see here, we have also cities. So Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, Edmonton, you can see the percentage basis of where these individuals are located for the most part. In this query, it's going to be more population density than it is anything else, but just so you guys know, you guys can pull city information as well. And also pages that are relatable. So Tasty, Tim Hortons, M&M. Didn't know that M&M correlated with dog owners, but who would have thunk? Facebook itself, Ellen DeGeneres, Justin Trudeau, et cetera, et cetera. So you can pull all these different pages, different sources, and see exactly what they're relating to, and see if there's any sort of correlation that you can gather with the audience. Now, the big question is, do dog owners actually buy heated beds? Right? We haven't answered that question yet. And I'm sure you're curious as to exactly how we're going to find this information out. Now, if you were going to answer this question yourselves, where would you first look to see if dog owners purchased heated beds? Feel free to put it in the chat as to where you would go. For sure. Yeah, Sarah nailed it. Awesome. Amazon we're going to stick to. JC, eBay as well. Great idea. And actually a great thing to take a peek at. eBay, you can use like recently sold items to see what items are selling for and that kind of stuff. You can query those items, but we're not going to stick to eBay. If you want to have that conversation, we can take that offline, but for now, we're going to stick to Amazon. So for Amazon, this poor photoshopped dog needs a better bed, as we can tell. This is the extra, extra large dog heating bed. You can see a bit of product information here. It's by this company called Quasi Love. Doesn't really necessarily pertain to pets, but we're going to use it as an example because it is the top heated dog bed on Amazon. You can see here they got 498 ratings. Pretty darn good. What I really want to bring your attention to is on the bottom right here is there's an ASIN number, ASIN. Every product on Amazon has this Amazon serial number, and you can actually look up information based on this ASIN number, ASIN number. So we're going to use a product here called FBA Toolkit, and it effectively goes through and gives you information based on that specific ASIN number, including number of sellers, including the current amounts that it sells for, etc., etc. It's a really, really popular tool. And there's also another tool that you can use, which is called Camel, Camel, Camel. I know it's a funny name. It is what it is, but it is Camel, Camel, Camel. It kind of sticks. But you can actually look up products themselves and see things like price history, volumes, and a bunch of different metrics. So this right here is just the Amazon Basics round bolstered dog bed, not heated, not anything like that. And you can see price fluctuations as to how it goes through the year, as well as the lowest and highest prices. And you can also, once again, gather additional details through Camel, Camel, Camel. Another place to look to see if people are actually searching or see if there's a trend involved with regards to your product or service is Google Trends. It's a free platform that allows you to look at search terms, categories, industry information, et cetera, and compare different terms and categories to one another. So as you can see here, we have dog bed, and this is sort of a dated example, but it still shows the same idea. You can search for dog bed within Canada in the past 12 months. You can also do any different country. You can even segment it down to Alberta, even Edmonton if you really wanted to. And then you can also look up all past information from, I believe, 2004 forward. Or you can just look at the last 12 months, 5 years, etc., whatever works best for you in your use case. So as you can see here, in October 25th, 2020, you can see that there's up and down trends as to how many people are actually searching for the query dog bed in Canada. It's a pretty cool tool. You can also see terms like heated dog bed in Canada for the past 5 years. So you can see how the queries tend to change throughout the year and they ebb and flow. You can also see hiking with dog. You can do all kinds of different terms. So here's another example. Once again, interest peaks. And then what I would do is I would take these different interests over time, correlate them with one another, and see if there's a correlation as to when individuals are searching for this type of a product or service. And this is relevant for any product or service. And then from here, we can compare and contrast, as I just mentioned. So there we can build some correlations between fluctuations between camping with a dog and a heated dog bed to see if there are similarities between the two, or if there's a way for us to correlate these different search terms. Now let's get into some bigger ideas. So this is the segment for keyword research. There's a few different tools that you can utilize here for keyword research. I personally prefer SEMrush, and since I believe this year they went public, so they've been doing a lot of crazy things with regards to their search tools. So their keyword research is phenomenal. Another product is Ahrefs, and both of these, by the way, do have Ahrefs doesn't have a free version. SEMrush does, from what I remember. I believe Ahrefs changed their business model a bit. But in either case, Ahrefs is also a very, very good product. I would highly recommend it for keyword research. You can't go wrong with SEMrush or Ahrefs. And then last but not least, we have Google Ads, free platform. You can sign up for an account today, and you can look at different metrics with regards to keyword research and build a performance planner, see what the volumes are, and do a little bit of research that way. You can do it based on postal codes, cities, etc., and get a lot of information through Google Ads itself. So here I've got a screenshot of SEMrush. This is for the United States database for a heated dog bed. And as you can see here, there's a bunch of different people who are searching for a heated dog bed. The search volume is about 8,100 per month. This is inside the US. Canadian database is about 480 people that are searching per month for a heated dog bed. And as you can see here, there's a bunch of questions that appear as well. So are heated dog beds safe? How to make a heated dog bed or electric heated dog bed safe? there's a lot of questions relating to safety in dogs. So you can utilize some of that inside, let's say, your marketing copy, or to differentiate your product. Let's say it is pressure sensitive, so it's whenever a dog is laying on it, it heats it to a certain temperature and falls. So you can see what people are actually questioning when it comes to heated dog beds and help to alleviate some of those problems or issues that they have when researching heated dog beds. But as you can see, people are searching for heated dog beds, which is great. Love to see that. And so 480 people approximately per month, they're searching for it within Canada. Now, camping with a dog, same idea, 720 individuals searching per month in the Canadian database. And you can see here, a cool keyword is cold weather camping with dogs. It's got about 90 volume. And that's another thing that you can utilize is, once again, to take these search terms, put it into your research, and see how you can market and prep your product or service with some marketing copy or some other copy, just to see if individuals are actually looking for this or purchasing this kind of stuff. Another area that we can look at is ads history, just to kind of see, okay, well, people are purchasing this product, then they must be advertising these companies. So you can take SEMrush's tool and take a look at some of the different ads that are running for these different companies and get some insight as to what they're selling, how they're selling, and once again, to see if there's any demand for this. They wouldn't be advertising this product if there wasn't demand for it. So effectively, what I'm trying to say is that there seems to be a market for heated dog beds in general. Solar power just adds another feature to it, and the pressure sensitivity also, once again, adds another feature to it. But clearly, people are looking for this product. And this is something that's key, is people are actually purchasing this product. They're not saying it's a good idea, but they're actually going ahead and making those next steps to purchase. And with regards to the ads, that's once again another variable that just says to me that yes, people are paying for these keywords, therefore they are working and people are purchasing the product on those different platforms. So let's get into the competitive analysis a bit. This is going to get a little bit interesting, so I hope everyone gets a little bit of value out of this. And we're going to be looking at one company in general, and this is K&H Pet Products. They appear in #1 for almost all queries for heated dog bed, which is very interesting. It seems like there's only one company doing this kind of well. And as you can see here, they have various different types of heated dog beds. None of them are solar powered, which is interesting, and all of them plug into the wall. There is no, let's say, portable option in this case for unplugging it from the solar panel, letting it heat. I don't know if they're pressure sensitive or not. I don't think they were when I conducted this research. But in either case, they do sell them, and they are the top competitor inside the industry at this point in time. So we can take a look at their tech stack and kind of see what they're utilizing in order to sell their product. The company that I use for this is called BuiltWith. It's a very, very robust tool, and it's completely free. So what you do is you effectively enter the URL of their domain into BuiltWith, and it'll give you a full understanding as to what they've actually built their stack with or their website presence with. So in this case, K&H is using Shopify as their main e-commerce product. They're using the Empire theme for this specific example. And you can see also, I don't know if you guys can read this, but they're using a whole bunch of different types of conversion tracking, including HubSpot, Google Analytics, Reddit conversion tracking. There's a whole bunch of different conversion tracking tags that are associated with this website. So they're tracking their customers very in depth. And it also goes into like even what widgets they're using, which is very interesting stuff. Don't sleep on BuiltWith. It's a very cool tool. We can see here also on their website, they're utilizing content. Content is king, as all you know. Google just recently released their helpful content update. If you haven't researched this, please do. It is a big update that's happening within the industry. And effectively, that just means the more helpful content you have of your product or service, the better off you'll be. And as you can see here, K&H does have a blog, and they are posting all the time. I did see a question in the chat. There's Cecile. It kind of popped off there for a second. Someone has to go to the previous slide, or okay, no worries. So yeah, we can see that they do have a bit of content marketing into their mix. And then what we can do is we can take a tool like Social Blade. Social Blade is an engagement tool for social media accounts, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, etc., etc. You can look up information on different brands and pages. So as you can see here, at the very top, we have their engagement rate for what I believe is their Facebook page. So we can see they have about 5,655 followers. They got an engagement rate of 1.03%, average likes, etc., etc. Excuse me, sorry. And then we also have their Instagram account here. We can see the content that they're actually producing, as well as their Pinterest account here. So the Social Blade is a very, very once again slept on tool. Please use it for all of your research purposes to see the social channels of the competitors that you have. From there, I'm going to show you something kind of cool. If you haven't seen this at all on Facebook, I think it's really, really cool just to even take a peek at with companies that you like or companies that you're competing with. So if you ever look up a page on Facebook, there's this page transparency area. Typically, it's on the left-hand side of the page if you scroll down, and you can actually see the organizations that manage this company. You can see the page history, the people who manage this page, and also the ads from this page. And this is really important. You can actually see the ad library where they're advertising and the copy that they're using as well. So I would highly recommend to also take a look at this information for all of your competitors to kind of see what they're advertising, how they're advertising, and some more detailed information about the company. So when I went in, you can see on the left-hand side here, it says page transparency. Click see all, and then it'll bring up that aforementioned little menu there. It's kind of a cute picture as well. I'm glad I kept that. And here you can see that we can go to the ad library at the bottom here. This is for a different product or different service, but you can see ad library. And then you can see here the different creatives that they're using. You can see the different ads that they're also advertising with. You can see their call to actions and all the content and copy within their ads, when they were launched, etc., etc. This is a very, very, very important tool that we use almost every single week for our customers. And then from there, we do have organic positions as well. This is through SEMrush. And we're able to see sort of outdoor heated dog bed, what the actual search volume is here as well for KH Pet specifically as a competitor. So we can see exactly how much traffic KH Pet is getting for their heated dog beds based on the queries that we have here as well. So you can see they're getting quite a bit of traffic just based on heated dog beds. So clearly there's, once again, still a market, and these guys are owning that market at this point. And then what you're also able to do through SEMrush is to get some information as to what types of ads that they're running through search engine marketing. So you can see things like what kind of ad copy that they have, what their call to action is for their display ads, what type of display ads, landscape versus one-to-one, as well as the different keywords that they're focusing on and the copy that's involved with display ads as well. So just as a summary here, what they're doing, yes, you'll get the PowerPoint. So the summary of tactics that we have here, we have organic social posting. They're posting via Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. They have a Facebook shop available to purchase their products online. They're also running Google Ads, display, search, etc. They are an Amazon seller and are advertising through Amazon as well. And they're really focusing on search engine optimization to make sure that they're taking advantage of those top keywords. So this is effectively what they're doing online. And this is the profile that we typically gather for one company within inside of the respective industry that we're looking to target. And then we copy this for the remainder of the competitors that we're taking a peek at. Another thing that I don't mention as often as I should is to purchase your competitor's product or service. The best way to get insight on a competitor's product or service is to purchase it if you're able to. So let's say you're competing inside the lawn care industry for whatever reason, and there's a main competitor. I'd highly recommend you just say, hey, I'd like to get my lawn touched up, et cetera, and just see how their workflows go, see what their emails are like, see what their tonality is, see how they're engaging with you as a customer. Are they calling you? Are they prepping you? Are they telling you what to do prior to the person coming? Do they mention payment methods, all that kind of stuff? What's the customer journey look like for your competitors? So if you're able to, purchase them and see how it goes and see how you can do it better. So that kind of concludes the overall market research competitive analysis side of things. And now I'm going to kind of step into the what's next for market research. Now, this is sort of a crystal ball that I like to kind of bring up and sort of get some ideas flowing for the audience. So I'm also open to seeing what you think is also next for market research. But I'm going to dig into quite a few different companies and certain subsets that I believe are important for you guys to know. So the first is smarter, shorter surveys. There are a host of different companies that are doing this. SurveyMonkey is one of the top ones. There's a few different large organizations that are also taking advantage of smarter, shorter surveys. And some of the companies I'm going to mention below also do this very well. But I'm sure everyone here knows the survey that's 50 questions long, goes into satisfied versus least satisfied versus most satisfied. You're kind of figuring out, well, am I really most satisfied? Or am I most likely to purchase this product? Or am I like, it's kind of like figuring out, I don't know, where you kind of sit in this pool. So, excuse me. So the smarter, the shorter the survey is, the better it is. The attention span of us as consumers is getting shorter and shorter. So the shorter the survey, the better your results will be. One of the cool areas that I like to talk about is the AI-powered focus groups. This is really awesome. So Remesh is one of the main companies who conduct these online focus groups, and it's all AI-driven. And what this does is it effectively takes out the in-person focus group and kind of puts it online. So take a look at Remesh. They do this very, very well. And they're one of the leading organizations that conduct these. This is something that's going to be, currently happening right now, but it's going to get better and better as time moves forward. Crowdsourced research is another area that I like to talk about as well. So this is effectively where a lot of individuals come together and conduct research for you. Excuse me. And Amazon Mechanical Turk and Qualtrics Core XM are two prime examples of this. So what they effectively do is they will help you crowdsource your research and build those smart shorter surveys for you to then populate your database with. So take a look at these two different companies and what they're doing with regards to crowdsourced research. And they can definitely be effective for you and your company, product, or service. Another thing I don't really mention here is tools like Reddit is a really good example. There's a lot of individuals on Reddit in certain subreddits that can be really, really helpful to gather some feedback. It may not be the best feedback, but at least they're not tied to you in any respects. So I would recommend potentially even just pushing your product or service or asking the question of would you use this, would you use that, to some of these larger threads or larger areas where people tend to sort or tend to crowd online. But first, I want to preface that by saying make sure that it is okay with the subreddit to post that information or the moderators of those subreddit threads. But definitely take advantage of those social platforms to try and get some more unbiased opinions. Another area that is currently around, but is getting better and better, is social listening. So I'm sure you're all familiar with Hootsuite as a platform itself. Review trackers and social searcher are also very helpful. Social searcher is free. Hootsuite is free. They have sort of a freemium model. Review trackers is a freemium model as well. But effectively what you want to do is you want to set up certain keywords or certain companies that you want to be effectively listening to and see what they're doing inside the industry. See what's happening within their social world. And then just make sure that you can always be up to date as to what your competitors are doing or are doing. And being able to reply or respond with either better products or services or with some more innovation at the end of the day. But social listening is here, but it's only going to get better and better as time moves forward. Competitive analysis. So smarter competitive analysis. There's one company that I would recommend in this area. It's Crayon. Crayon.co is the URL. And they effectively do AI-based competitive analysis and provide you real-time feedback as to what your competitors are doing and reporting based on it. So these guys have been around for quite some time, but they're just getting better and better as time moves forward. This is a paid service, just so everyone's aware. It's not free by any stretch, but what I would recommend is getting their free report and then maybe requesting a demo to see exactly what they can do and how they can actually help you as a business. Because competitive analysis and market research takes a lot of time and energy, as you saw before. So if you're just looking for a one all-encompassing solution, Crayon's definitely the place to go for that. And by the way, no affiliation with any of these companies. I'm just throwing this out there. I do have SEMrush and Ahrefs as accounts as well as Google Ads, etc. But with regards to these companies, I got no affiliation with them. AI-assisted data collection. So this is where I love to sit. AI itself is getting better and better as time moves forward. And if it can assist us in any way possible, better off we'll be in general. So AI-assisted data collection is happening as we speak. And effectively what Google AI and IBM Watson are doing is effectively scrounging the internet and finding research for you and collecting data for you so you don't have to. You effectively tell it what you're looking for, and it will effectively give it to you based on sources, research, et cetera, et cetera. And as I mentioned, anything with AI is just going to be getting better and better as time moves forward. The more that these models learn with their machine learning aspects, the better they get. And really, this once again is somewhere I hope in the future that we can just press a button and all the market research competitive analysis is done for us. And I think that IBM Watson and Google AI are doing big things to make that happen. And then I guess at the end of the day, I'll leave you with this. Effectively, Albert Einstein said it best. And he effectively said, if we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? If we always knew what product or service would get purchased, then we would just do it. But in this case, we don't know. So that is why we conduct research. And Albert Einstein, as you guys know, one of the smartest people ever. So I think if any words of wisdom are appropriate, his are definitely the ones. So yeah, I guess that's the end of the presentation. If there are any questions, I did kind of wrap this up a little bit early. My throat is killing me right now, but I'm happy to answer any questions that everyone here may have.
Feel free to unmute or to ask a question or put it in the chat.
Garrett, are you aware of anywhere? So I know SEMrush was one of the ones you touted, but it is something that costs money. Are you aware of any sites that can give us a rough idea of how often something is searched for?
Absolutely, yeah. So Google Ads is the best thing, I would say, with the most accurate data to give us an idea as to how much certain queries are searched for. And they have specific tools within Google Ads called Keyword Researcher and Performance Planner. Those are the two that I would highly recommend. And they give data and insights hyper locally. So once again, you can search for Edmonton dog bed and you will get queries that are related to dog bed within the Edmonton area that are searched for. And then you can actually export this data out of Google Ads and use it for your own interpretation. So it's not housed anywhere. And it's all completely free and the most accurate data coming straight from Google.
I should add for our NATE students, you do have access to some market research search databases through the library, through the Learning Resource Center. And so if you don't know who to contact there, you can email me and I'll connect you with them. But there's people who will assist you in how to access that information as well.
Hey Garrett, I just got one question. That ASIN number that you took off Amazon, where did you input that to gather the information?
So I used Camel as one of the main tools. There was another tool that I mentioned there as well. Off the top of my head, I can send you the link over to it to gather those details, but it's a third-party provider that allows you the access to that information.
Okay, and then for the Google, for the competitive analysis, I kind of missed it. The new app that they were looking into or something. What was that about?
The new app.
You said they had a new feature or something. Can't remember.
For Google Ads specifically?
It was something with Google, yeah. Just Google Ads?
Yeah, so Google Ads itself, as I mentioned to Dale there, that's the tool that it has. I personally can't remember exactly the new
helpful content. Okay.
Somebody's put it, it's helpful content.
Okay,
right.
Excellent. Thank you.
So no worries. Just so you're aware, though, the helpful content is an algorithm update, not necessarily a feature that's within Google. So Google effectively takes their algorithm and changes it every so often. That makes people like myself sweat a little bit when these changes occur. But effectively just mention that helpful content or content made for people that answers their questions effectively will rank higher than others. And it's super important. It affects a lot of businesses in a lot of different areas who are trying to build content for search engines as opposed to for people.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any
Hi.
other questions?
Yeah, I just have a question. So, in terms of conducting the surveys, like what way do you think should be like the best way to conduct the survey? Like, should it be like through Google Forms or what do you suggest?
Yeah, Google Forms is great as well. It does give you a bunch of different insights and you can create it for free. So Google Forms is definitely a tool that I would use to conduct those surveys. Another tool that I would look into is SurveyMonkey.
Okay.
So SurveyMonkey is a great tool as well. They have a free version of it. It does give you a little bit more insights than Google Forms itself, but either one of those is what I would recommend. There's also a few different other ones that can be used, but yeah, definitely those two are the way to start out.
Okay, thank you.
Did you see the question from Carrie in the chat?
I did. I do see Peter's here as well. I think that's in friendly, but what is the name of the free service that helped check tech stacks? That's built with, just as it sounds. So builtwith.com, I believe. How do you entice people to answer surveys? That's a great question. There's a few ways. The first way is just mentioning inside of your communication with them to say it only takes X period of time. That's a very helpful way to get people to answer surveys. It'll just take a minute out of your day, X time, and make sure that that time matches the actual time that it takes to fill out the survey. That's a definite way to get people to click and answer the survey. Another way is just making them shorter, more succinct, and simple. The shorter the survey is, the better it'll be, the more answers you'll get, and just making sure they're getting the right questions answered. Another useful item is to have a progress bar. I know it sounds really, really silly, but progress bars go a long way. So if you can see how long the reading time for something is or how long the survey time is for something, you can see your progress throughout. It helps people know that they have 20% of the survey done and there's only a couple more questions to go, as opposed to not having any of that and having an endless amount of questions coming through. So one of those pieces will help get your survey answered more often. Yeah, and some of the tools that I mentioned also have those features built in. You're welcome.
Any other questions before we are done? While you guys think about that, I just want to thank Garrett for today. I appreciate your throat's probably on fire and probably need something hot to drink now. Really appreciate you doing this for us and our students. And again, students, if you want to book a meeting, do contact myself or Dale as well. I want to remind you that next week on Wednesday, we have Cole Rosentretter, all about the pitch, crafting your pitch deck and your pitch. Cole was one of our first student entrepreneurs we worked with. He's the CEO of Pegasus Imagery. He's pitched at Draper University, he's pitched with NASA, he's pitched with Boeing. So he's got some amazing experience and perspective to share with you all. I'm just going to check and see there's no further questions. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I will be sending out a very short survey, 1 to 2 minutes to complete, and would appreciate you taking the time to complete it. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.